What's up, y'all? This is Dasha Speaks back with another video. Just coming to share my experience and shed some light on the discrimination, retaliation, harassment, um, that took place when I was working for Wolfspeed, slash Cree. It is a company located in Durham, North Carolina. They make things for the electric cars. They make things for the electric cars. But I'm just gonna have this is the screen that I'm gonna have up as I talk. I do have some emails in here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be sharing those. So yeah, if you have not done so already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video. Wolfspeed is discriminating against black people. So my first day of working for the company, I got resistance on the first day. I was told to report to work that evening. I worked the overnight shift from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It was three days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off. It was like a 3-2-2 or something like that schedule. So I alternated weekends. The money was okay, but I didn't realize that it was a very toxic environment until I was put into that toxic environment. So, the first day I got there, the first red flag for me was there was nobody in the room that they told me someone was going to be meeting me over there in. And then they gave me numbers to call. I called numbers. Nobody was picking up. I did end up getting in touch with someone. I went and clocked in is what I did. Once I really, it was like 6:15, 7:15, 6:15, something like that, 7:15. So I went ahead, I went and found the time clock and I clocked in, and then I started calling again. Then I did get an answer that time, the second time that I called. And there was a lady named Pam, and her excuse was that she didn't know that I was supposed to be starting working, or that they told her that I wasn't starting today, which I knew was a lie. It was just them trying to X me out before I got in. And then once I got in, I realized what was really going on. So I just went on that night to go on to work. She told me how to get to her. I had to walk around an office that I was unfamiliar with to find out where exactly she was. She was just being lazy, like most of them. I can't remember her last name, but I know her first name was Pam. She was the training coordinator or something over there. I had some issues with her when it came to submitting my training paperwork as a form of retaliation, because I did report her for her actions. She made me have to. I had to complete the same paperwork 2 and 3 times. It's a very toxic environment. So I'm just going to tell y'all more about my experience. So the first night, once I got on the floor, met the supervisor. His name was Joe, which I found out, Joseph Williams to be exact. He was some bullshit as well. So I went on to work. He had me with this girl. What's her name? I can't even call her name right now. And I had problems with her and her friend group. Mainly because, my energy is so big, and people are intimidated when you have big energy, especially when you are walking in your feminine energy, and, you let people know you're not afraid, you're not scared, and I'm just the type of person who I just couldn't work to get my money. But she was supposed to be training me, Zakina Parker, that's her name. Zakina Parker. She's from Lewisburg. If any of y'all know her, she's a stinking ass bitch too. But anyway, She was intimidated that I was going to take her job. The girl was training me wrong. And then when I was figuring out stuff on my own, she had like she was surprised. But anyway, the first night she left me by myself, y'all. This girl left and went and got drunk. For 2 hours, she was gone off the floor. And so I spoke to the supervisor about it. You know, another thing too with Pam, I can't even think of her last name. I'm trying to think of the other lady last name. But I just wanted to get this video up for y'all. And I just lost my train of thought, so don't mind me. I'm just doing this off the rim. But I complained to Joseph Williams about Zakina Parker. He said that he was going to take care of everything. What he did was go tell her and her friend group that I made some complaints, and you little son of a motherfucker. I said I'm fucking recording. If you wanted something or needed something, you say that before I get on this computer, because you back here goddamn yelling and I can hear you. I said when I'm recording, I don't want to hear a goddamn thing. Now what the fuck are you hollering about? I'm starting to call you something, boy. But you gonna shut the fuck up. Been whining like a little bitch ever since you left that goddamn daycare. There ain't no more chicken nuggets. It's some bread. Here, you can get a piece of bread. Cause what you gonna have for dinner? We having cheese steaks. Unless I make you some fries. I make you some fries. Here, get you a piece of bread. That's what you can eat for right now. And shut the fuck up. I'm trying to get through this video so I can get it up. Shut the fuck up. Now, you ate all the chicken nuggets. It ain't no more, and I ain't buying no more. Here, get this goddamn bread. And I'll cook you fries when I do the Philly cheesesteaks, which I'm going to start cooking when I finish eating. Finish with this video. Well, I'm actually going to go get me some weed first, and then I'm going to come back and start cooking. But I ain't putting no grease on right now because I don't want nothing. So I complained to Joseph Williams about, being left all night, for those 2 hours. She came back smelling like a barrel of liquor, and the only thing that he did was have them harass me. They retaliated against me. I noticed that after I spoke with him about the issue, I just spoke with him verbally. Her and her friend group were walking around trying to intimidate me. I can't think of the other girl's name. They didn't want to train me. They were, cutting their eyes, acting like little kids. You know how kids act. So then after he didn't do anything and, things started getting worse, I got mental health issues. So, I was just trying to go back to work. And so me knowing me, I was trying to, I'm a solution-based person. So I was trying to find a solution to the problem, by doing what I was supposed to do, which is letting somebody know, hey, this is going on. But to my surprise, nobody motherfucking gave a fuck. To my surprise, that's something that they motherfucking do very fucking often at Wolfspeed /Creek in Durham, North Carolina. So, this retaliation and discrimination, them neglecting the situation, because I went up all the way to Greg Lowe, which is the owner, sent him an email, got with Margaret Chadwick, who is the director of HR, sent her emails, got with Sean Harrison, Drew Duffy over there in HR. They all were bullshit, including the fucking Greg Lowe. but once I let everybody know, it just led to me having more fucking problems. And then once it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore, and I had a mental breakdown. Then I went and got fit some. Went up there. He still didn't want to address the situation. The only thing he told me was, "We are aware of your problems, and we're doing everything we can to fix it." Or no, he said that we haven't had time to get to it because we got other things to do. So he was basically telling me, I don't give a fuck about what you're going through and how hard it is for you to come to this job and do your job. I don't care about people harassing you, trying to intimidate you, retaliating against you. He was a part of the retaliation too. So then that night when I had the mental breakdown, I just let him know I don't feel safe going back to the floor. If I go down there, something may happen and where I may have to defend myself, and I'm not comfortable doing that. So they sent me home. I was crying and stuff after we had a little talk. I do have footage of the meeting that me, him, and at the time they were switching over with the supervisors, because the black supervisor, which was Joseph Williams, they didn't want him over there no more, so they brought in Mitch. I forgot what his real name is. White guy. Know that. I knew that when they said that. So for a month, I was being bullied, harassed. They wouldn't take any of my complaints. It got to the point where they had to move me from that area because I couldn't get nothing done. I couldn't focus. And then when they moved me from that area, moved me to a different area, Zakina, and I can't think of that other girl name with her ugly ass, they would come over there to my area. Where they moved me at, I was now having to deal with another one of the immature kids, the kids. I can't even think of her fucking name. I see her face right now. But that's where it got to the point where I just couldn't take it no more. I had a mental breakdown. They sent me home. I went and got some therapy through their program, which was with Spring Help, with the company program. I was over there talking to a therapist. Her name was Kimberly McNeil, who I later found out was working with Wolfspeed to X me out. So I was doing therapy with her for a month or so. She was just going back and sharing the information with them that I was sharing with her. She was very unprofessional. I complained about her. It's all a system. They don't give a fuck, really. They don't give a fuck. They say you just gonna have to deal with it or not. But yeah, the therapist told me that I needed to go to a higher level of care, and she recommended that I do a group therapy, which the whole thing with the group therapy was for them to get me there so that they could lie on my records, so that they could deem me, when it came time for me to get my gun permit, my concealed carry permit in Wake County. The doctors lied on my records. I did attend a program at Holly Hill for 3 days, and I attended a program at Cary Behavioral for about 3 days too. But once I got in the groups, I was actually getting worse in the groups, and then to find out that the doctor over at Cary Behavioral, his name was Dr. Bajwa. He diagnosed me as having a cocaine use disorder. And a cannabis use disorder, and I disclosed to him that I was not using cannabis any longer, that I had quit, and he lied and stated that I had a cannabis use disorder. And then I left there. That was the second one I went to. I went to Holly Hill first. Holly Hill, the doctor over there was Thomas Cornwall, which he's retired now. He put on there that I had a cocaine use disorder. So they completely misdiagnosed me. Then I found out exactly why, because in order for me to get my long-term disability through Lincoln Financial, I would have had to satisfy the need of getting that higher level of care, securing that higher level of care. But I was successful in getting it, but I couldn't stay in the program because they were untrustworthy. My intuition was going off, and I was getting worse, so it wasn't a good program for me. And then Kimberly McNeil, her lying ass, talking about I couldn't see her as a therapist when I got in the program. But she was lying because when I got in the program, they told me that I needed a therapist outside of them. So it was just a whole big old thing. So, because when I went out on my short-term disability, they had to create some type of way because I had only worked for a month. By this time, they were in a hole fucking with me. They were paying me my short-term disability, and in order to X me out or disqualify me from getting my long-term disability, they created this strategic plan which they thought they were going to get away with, but they are learning now who is really in charge, and God has come through and shut some doors. Not only that, there were people, I reported them to the EEOC, which the EEOC was paid off as well. There were people over there in the EEOC, from the head up, that they didn't even give me my right to sue on time. Then they made up all these lies. I had to complain on them. Then they tried to tell me that what I was submitting, I didn't have enough evidence, which they lied. I had statements from other people that were experiencing the same type of treatment. And then those statements I used in there, they shared all that information with Wolfspeed, and then Wolfspeed later, after they thought that everything died down, they fired everybody who was connected to me or anyone that participated in, trying to get some justice in regards to this situation. And now I'm hearing that Greg Lowe is going through some very difficult changes over there at Wolfspeed. I don't wish bad on anybody. I just know how God comes behind me, and God has really stepped in. I've heard that there are departments closing down, and the business is going down. So that's my experience. I just wanted to get on here and share it with you all. Discrimination is real. Retaliation is real. Harassment is real. They do have people, flying monkeys is what I call them, or peasants too, that work with them to X you out. They do this shit all the time. So if you have been a victim of discrimination from Wolfspeed, comment on this video. I am real interested still in suing them for wrongful termination, because I was terminated after I couldn't get into the reliable long-term disability group program that, or find a therapist that I could actually trust. So the doctors, the lawyers, all of them, they work together to X us out and keep us down. Because when I was looking for a lawyer, nobody in Raleigh would help me. Nobody in the surrounding counties would help me. I just kept getting no's. But God was just like that, that all that is for a reason. So that when it all is said and done, and when the investigation takes place, they all are going to be held accountable. So if you have not done so already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video, shed some light on your situation if you have experienced discrimination from Wolfspeed. I know there are a great amount of people, a very big amount of people who have been discriminated against from Wolfspeed. I know that this wasn't their first rodeo, the first time that they did this. So I encourage you to share your story, because the only way that we can, make a change is by letting people know what our experiences is. I wasn't going to put this video up, but God has, made me sit down to do this video because he said it's time. I don't watch the news, so I just heard through the grapevine what Wolfspeed was going through. If y'all have any updates, y'all can drop them in the comments too. I do want to hear about your experiences with discrimination in the workplace, retaliation in the workplace, if you have been wrongfully terminated, because justice is going to be served, and God does not like ugly. So that's all I got today for y'all on Dasha Speaks. I'm speaking up and speaking out about this discrimination. I'm going to give y'all, I'm going to do a separate video on Lincoln Financial, a separate video on Cary Behavioral, separate video on Holly Hill, and a separate video on Wake County Sheriff Department, just so that I can share the details of my experiences with those entities. separately, so that y'all can get the full story. But this is my story. I'm here. I'm sharing it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I will see y'all next time. I really appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, Dasher speaks.